For our dish today, we are going to make stewy shrimp with tomatoes and white beans. Ingredients: 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes, 3 garlic cloves finely chopped, 1/2 cup of dry white wine, 1½ pounds of peeled and deveined large shrimp. If it's frozen, don't forget to thaw it. 1 15-ounce can of cannellini beans, drained and rinsed. For this dish, we're going to use 2 cups of arugula. Arugula is pretty spicy and gives the dish a nice peppery mustardy flavor. If you can't find arugula at the store, you can always substitute it for dandelion greens. 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. 1/8 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. For this dish, we're going to use a few shakes of kosher salt. But before we start cooking, let me tell you a little bit about kosher salt. Kosher salt is way better for you than normal table salt because normal table salt has a whole bunch of additives in it like iodine, which isn't good for your body. Kosher salt is all natural and pure. That doesn't mean that you can just pile on the salt, so be careful with what you pour. Now let's start cooking. I'm going to use about 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Don't forget to be careful when you open up the can of diced tomatoes. So what you're going to do with these diced tomatoes, you're going to open the can and you're going to basically drain the tomatoes, but we need to save the juice for another use. Take a spatula, take my can of tomatoes, and do my best to drain as much of the liquid out as possible of these diced tomatoes. It won't be perfect, but just try your best. And if you want to see, this is what the liquid looks like inside. So now I'm going to go and find a large or a medium-like pot. I'm just going to rinse it out just to make sure that there's no dirt, make sure it's just clean. I'm going to put it on the largest burner that I can find on my stove. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to use just some olive oil. So I always pour my oil before the pan gets hot, just to be safe. That's 1 tablespoon. 2nd tablespoon. I add just a little bit more just because the pot's big. And I'm going to roll the pot like this just to get it covered at the bottom with oil. Take the garlic cloves and chop them finely. Let it get a little hotter so that we can basically just cook the garlic through for about 30 seconds or so. Don't have it be too brown. You just want to get like a fragrant essence to go throughout the oil. We have our chopped garlic. We have also our cannellini beans that we're going to use. We're going to use about 15 ounces or so of this, so 1 can. Just get the Goya kind, whatever's cheapest at the store. Just open up the can. I'm going to just drain the liquid out because I don't really like the liquid in the beans. Just take your spatula from before. I'm going to take a little bit of water. And this is how I know if it's hot. I'm just going to flick it. And I see a little bit of steam coming out from inside the pot. I'll show you again. I hear a crackle, so that's good. That's how I know it's hot. I'm just going to stir it in. So we're going to wait about 30 seconds or so, just so it's nice and brown. Well, not brown, but just before it gets to the brown part. So we know it's just cooked through. looks like it's good. So now I'm going to turn down the heat just a little, maybe to like medium or so. I'm going to take our green diced tomatoes and pour it in, stir it up. Trying to heat up just a little more. I'm going to let it cook now for about 2 minutes. This cheap Sauvignon Blanc from the store is good. I'm going to take it. I'm going to first go back to my pot and stir my mixture of garlic and diced tomatoes. It looks pretty good. And I am going to pour in the wine. I'm going to put just a little bit. I'm going to put just a little bit more in, just so it has a nice flavor. I'm going to let it simmer now. So, shrimp is really essential for this dish. Basically, I just bought about like 1.5 pounds of jumbo shrimp from the store. It's on sale, even better. And I am going to take a mini strainer just to wash the shrimp out, to clean them. Strainer in the sink, just for sanitary reasons. Pour the shrimp in the bag, out of the bag, into the strainer. Let me see what it should look like. Just wash it off. Just run it under cold water for about a couple seconds, just to clean it out. You're going to separate the shell from the shrimp. So it's pretty easy. You could also buy frozen shrimp. It's cheap. Tastes just the same. You just peel it just like this.
After you finish peeling the shrimp, it should look like this.
So we're making a really healthy meal. So we're making some stewy shrimp with tomatoes and white beans. So Joe, I'm going to have you finish peeling the shrimp and while we go back to our main dish. So you can see how really nice it is. I'm going to take the shrimp. You can see how the final product will look when it's all prepared. It's about 1.5 pounds, a little more. I'm going to put it in. And it's going to sit in this and marinate as it cooks. And it's going to cook through really nicely. Remember, since we are using seafood, we don't want any cross-contamination at all. You saw me using this red spatula before for both. Now I'm going to just only use this green spatula to mix, just because I don't want any cross-contamination at all. Mix this in. You'll see how it's going to cook through.
After a little bit of time cooking the shrimp, you will keep cooking and stirring the shrimp until it is cooked through and pink. You are going to take about 15 ounces or so of cannellini beans and drain them. This gives the dish some nice protein. Doesn't that look tasty? I'm going to take about 10 crunches on my black pepper mill. If you like it spicy, then add some extra pepper to the dish.
1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Again, you can use what you got from the pizza store, or if you own it yourself, just put it in. It makes it spicy, gives it good flavor.
We are going to add a dash of our kosher salt. I'm going to use about 2 cups of arugula. Don't forget to wash it. I chop the ends off the arugula and continue to cook the arugula through until it wilts. It looks like our dish is done. Now it's time to eat.
The shrimp is amazing.
Basically, Momma's Cup Kitchen Volume 1 cooking series was an absolute success. As you can hear, we have a lot of great people who came out to support us at Easter. We have our shrimp and marinara dish that came out fantastic. Has a little spicy twang to it.
How you appreciate the goodness that happens on this plate.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining Mama's Hip Hop Kitchen, the soup kitchen for the hip hop soul. We've really been cooking up a storm. Created and produced by Kathleen Adams, KathleenJAdams.com, KJAdams.com.